Hello everybody, welcome back to the Running Through Podcast YouTube page. My name is Justin Horniger, and today I'm going to discuss my top 2 men's track field athletes of the 2010s. This one was tougher than I thought it would be. Obviously, a few names jump out. But then when you're looking back at results, you realize that some athletes, Usain Bolt for instance, were bigger last decade versus this decade. Usain Bolt ran the world record in 2009. And while he ran an Olympic record at London, that was kind of the tail end of his career as far as record breaking goes, outside of just the accumulation of medals. So when I think back to who had the greatest performances of the decade, Eliud Kipchoge, obviously, breaking the human barrier. And David Rudisha, who you might forget, the long forgotten David Rudisha. But in 2012, he had one of the greatest performances of all time on any stage, but he went wire to wire to win the 800-meter gold medal, running under 141 for the first time in history, breaking his own world record in a race that saw a world junior record, that saw 2 Americans going under 143, and Dwayne Solomon racing in the biggest chain you'll ever see him race in, see anyone race in. That's a subject for another time, but go back and watch that race. I'll link it down below. It's very annoying to me watching it. I don't know how he races with that thing on. Nick Symmonds and Dwayne Solomon both almost caught the podium with the way that Mohamed was falling off. A race that, when you watch it, Rudisha looks in control the entire time and is incredibly smooth and drives the whole way. When I look at that race versus everything Eliud Kipchoge has done, outside of the breaking 2, to me it's so much more impressive just because of what it takes to be that in control in an 800 meters where there's no margin for error. So to bury the lead a little bit, obviously my top 2 athletes of the decade are David Rudisha and Eliud Kipchoge. Now who's better between the 2? This is where it gets tricky. Because if you look through time equivalencies, David Rudisha's 140.91 world record is worth about a 2:02 marathon. Now, this is back in 2012, at the Olympics, mind you. Versus, let's take the sub-2 effort from Kipchoge away, and let's go with his 2-hour marathon in Berlin, in Vaporflies, on the world's fastest course. Still think that Kipchoge, because of what he was able to do, because of his being able to break this 2-hour mark, trying to fight my recency bias a little bit. If Kipchoge did this back in 2012 and Rudisha had just broken the world 800-meter record this past summer, it's a little bit harder. But I think now that we've had some time, I think Kipchoge breaking 2 slightly edges it out. So time-wise, point for Kipchoge. Stage-wise, doing it on the biggest stage of all, that's a point for Rudisha. Opposition-wise, I think I have to go 2-1 David Rudisha here, because David Rudisha really hammered home that race, but no one's been able to touch that world record. Whereas Kipchoge's world record was almost touched by Kenenisa Bekele this past fall. So, whereas Bekele hasn't broken 2 in race conditions on similar courses, Bekele got pretty darn close to taking that world record down, whereas no one's even approached Rudisha's 800-meter record, and I don't think anyone's going to do it for a little while. And when they do, they're going to break 140, but I think it still has time. There's no one in my mind that's that close yet. So if I'm to make an ultimate champion, the greatest athlete of the decade, this is my plea to you. Please consider David Rudisha. Let me know down in the comments below, who is your top athlete, top men's track and field athlete for 2010 through 2019. And if you like this video, subscribe, all that mumbo jumbo. We'll talk soon, guys.